Hey everyone. As a veteran service officer, I see folks get tangled up in the VA claims process all the time. So today, we're going to untangle it. We're going to zero in on what is often the most critical piece of the entire puzzle, your medical evidence. Let's make this whole thing make sense. This is the question I probably hear more than any other. You've got the diagnosis from your doctor, you live with it every single day, but then you look at the VA forms and you just think, how in the world do I make them see it? How do I prove that this thing has made it impossible for me to hold down a job? I get it. It's a really frustrating place to be, but I promise there's a clear way to get this done.
So the first thing we have to understand is what the VA is actually trying to figure out. It's not just about what condition you have. The whole point of the disability rating system is to measure, and I'm quoting here, the average impairment in earning capacity. It really all boils down to one thing. How does your service-connected condition affect your ability to earn a living? That's the name of the game.
Okay, let's dive into the single most important concept you need to get your head around for your claim. Everything, and I mean everything, hinges on this one idea: functional impairment. It's not about the name of your diagnosis, it's about what that diagnosis prevents you from doing.
Now, this right here, this is the VA's own definition, pulled straight out of their regulations. And look at those keywords. Disability evaluations are based on how you function in daily life. And here's the kicker: including employment. This is the language your evidence has to speak. It's the language the VA understands.
I want you to really let this sink in, because this sentence is one of the most powerful tools you have. The VA is openly admitting something that every veteran in this situation knows. Just because you can get around your house or maybe do some things on a good day does not mean you can handle the stress and demands of a 40-hour work week. They're not the same thing, and the VA acknowledges that right here in black and white.
So, when your doctor writes up a report, it has to go way beyond just listing a diagnosis. They need to get specific. They need to talk about these exact things the VA is looking for. We're talking about, how does your back injury limit your ability to sit, stand, or lift? How does your anxiety affect your ability to interact with coworkers or supervisors? How does your TBI impact your concentration and memory? That's the stuff that paints the full picture for the person rating your claim.
Okay, so let's see how this all leads to the big one: proving you're unemployable. This is how you can get a 100% total disability rating, even if your separate disabilities don't add up to 100%, with that, let's call it creative VA math.
Right, so this path is officially called total disability based on individual unemployability. Yeah, it's a mouthful, so everyone just calls it TDIU. It's a critical benefit because it's the VA's way of saying, okay, we recognize that your service-connected conditions are severe enough to keep you out of the workforce, so we're going to pay you at the 100% rate.
Now, to get on the TDIU path, there are some rating numbers you usually have to hit first. As you can see, you either need one single condition at 60% or higher, or you can have a couple of conditions that combine up to 70%, as long as one of them is at least 40%. But here's the thing: once you meet those percentage gateways, the entire focus shifts to that third step, proving you can't hold down a steady job.
And the VA is very specific about the kind of work they're talking about. They make a huge distinction between substantially gainful employment, a real steady job, and what they call marginal employment. Marginal employment could be odd jobs, part-time work that doesn't earn you more than the poverty level, or maybe working in a protected environment, like for a family member who can accommodate your bad days. Just being able to do that kind of marginal work does not mean you can't get TDIU.
All right, this next section is something I wish every single veteran knew by heart. There's a rule baked right into the VA system that is specifically designed to work in your favor. It's called the benefit of the doubt rule, and believe me, it can be an absolute game changer. Just take a second and let that soak in. This isn't just a friendly suggestion. It is official VA policy written in their regulations. It says that if there's a reasonable doubt, if the evidence is basically a tie, that doubt must be resolved in your favor. The tie goes to the veteran, period.
So what does that mean in the real world? It means your evidence doesn't have to be some kind of perfect, ironclad, slam-dunk case. It just has to be strong enough to make a reasonable person say, yeah, it's at least as likely as not that this is true. If your evidence can get the scales of justice to be evenly balanced, you win. A really solid medical opinion is often the very thing that gets the scales to that point.
Okay, so let's bring this all together. We've talked about focusing on functional impairment, we've talked about proving you're unemployable, and we've talked about how the benefit of the doubt is on your side. So how do we connect all those dots and build that bridge to a successful claim?
This right here is the key. It's a strong medical opinion. You'll often hear this called a Nexus Letter. This is the document that does all the heavy lifting for you. It's a statement from a doctor that basically translates your medical reality into the language the VA needs to hear. It clearly connects your diagnosis to your functional limitations and explains exactly why those limitations prevent you from working. It bridges the gap.
So let's just quickly recap the big points here. First, always focus on function, not just your diagnosis. Second, you have to document exactly how your conditions limit your ability to do a job. Third, that clear medical opinion from a doctor is the bridge that connects everything. And last but not least, never forget that the benefit of the doubt rule is your friend. It is on your side. So I'm going to leave you with this one last question. I want you to take a hard look at the evidence you have for your own claim. Does it just list your diagnoses, or does it really tell the full story of your functional impairment? Make sure it tells your whole story. You've definitely earned it.